Hey, I'm a Democrat. I smell like earwax. And I only eat vegan when people are watching.
How dare you think differently than me?
I burn down buildings for no reason. Because I'm a spoiled college kid. Hey, folks, welcome to the Jake and John Show, the world's greatest podcast of all time. I'm John, and I'm here with Jake, as always.
What's up?
And today we're going to talk about, well, the first thing is we're going to make fun of protesters. Because it's exploding on the news. Because everywhere I look, it's either that or it's the "Cash me outside, HowBow Dah." You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
The 13-year-old girl.
Did you watch the video of that?
I did, yeah.
You know what's weird about? I was thinking about this when I was watching it, and I don't know if it's because I'm old or what, but if I had seen that on TV, that would have not stuck out to me at all. I'd just been like, "This is ignorant shit," and turned it off.
Yeah,
I would have never made a meme out of that.
That little girl has to be mentally ill in some way. Like, what a girl turns into, like, some kind of hood rat or whatever that's supposed to be. I don't buy it. I think it's all bullshit anyway. That could be. That's very possible. But she's getting invited back to Dr. Phil.
Is she?
Yeah, I was passing through the living room, and the Dr. Phil show was on, I think, or it just ended, and there was a commercial, and it said, within days, that girl had 95 million views on that the video of her saying that.
Wow.
And so now she's coming back to the Dr. Phil show. So, but it's just going to be huge ratings, and the higher your ratings are, the more your advertisers have to pay.
Well, so the clip I saw, and it was just her being like a disrespectful little cunt. That's all I saw.
Yeah.
Is that what? I mean, is that basically what you got out of it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the gist of it.
That she like hits her mom and steals cars and.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I mean, that doesn't shock me.
Yeah, and she dropped some like criminal logic on it. She's like, well, I do. If it was like, if you leave your keys where I can't even talk a stupid voice. If you leave your keys where I can find them, then you expect your car to get stolen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she got her ass whooped. Did you hear that?
No, but that doesn't shock me at all.
I believe it was a young black woman that beat her ass, and I'm happy.
Is this like since the show?
Yeah, and
good.
I'm really happy about that because it's obvious that she's trying to portray herself as like a ghetto black woman or something like that. And so I'm happy that, I don't know if the black woman was ghetto or not. I have no idea. But I'm just happy that she was black. And maybe she was from the ghetto. And she's like, this fucking bitch, this white spoiled brat is trying to act like she knows where we're from. You know what I mean? I could see how that could be irritating.
She fucking cashed her outside.
Yeah, she did.
About that.
Yeah. But I was saying that I was watching it with Milady. And I was like, I'm going to laugh my ass off if some young black lady beats the shit out of her because of the way that she's behaving. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened, and she totally deserved it.
Yeah, she's like a shitty parody.
But she, there's some kind of video that she made. I guess she called the Dr. Phil show or the producers or something, whatever the number she had for them, and she was cussing them out, saying that they ruined her life and shit. And it's like, no. Your mom, well, you ruined your life, but your mom is even more responsible for letting you go on TV and behave like that in front of the entire world.
Yeah, because somebody has to, like, sign off on that.
Right.
If you're a minor, I don't think you can just go on TV. Yeah. That shitty parent of yours had to, like, jump in there.
Yeah. There's certain things with, like, parenting that I just don't like. Like, I guess it was 2 years ago, maybe 3, there was the trend of people disciplining their children on Facebook. Like, they're fishing for social media likes, like, some girl did something and her dad took her laptop away.
Like, and shot it.
Yeah, and shot it with a pistol out in the field. And I was just like, excuse me. Whoa. That's that tacos we had. But, yeah. And I was like, you're the worst fucking parent I've ever seen in my life. Like, why would you embarrass your child like that? She's going to be paying for that at high school for, until forever. Yeah. People aren't going to let that go.
Everybody, what's funny is those kind of people, too, portray themselves as the kind of people that don't care if they get likes on Facebook. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And you're doing something that has only that purpose.
Exactly.
Right? Like, that's not really to punish your kid.
No.
That's so people can be like, fuck yeah, America! You know, and click like on your post. That's what that's about.
Yeah. But speaking of pieces of shit, man, I got to talk about these protesters. And of course, this isn't a Republican-Democrat thing because I'm neither. But they claim to be Democrats, so I picked on Democrats a little bit today, telling them that they smell like earwax. But when you see these people, the first thing I want to address is their appearance. Is if you come at me looking like that with a bat or something, like I'm going to beat your fucking ass.
Oh, hold on, back up. So when you say their appearance, what are we talking about? Give me
I'm talking
a frame
about
of reference here.
Like 130-pound dork that looks like a spoiled brat, but like their parents' money just didn't pay off for them and they never became cool. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just some fucking dork that's, now that they're in a mob and they have masks on, they somehow become tough guys.
Yeah.
Those guys are not tough. I see them in all the interviews, and they're scrawny and they look like they smell, and they have oily skin, and they're retarded. They try to make a point about what they're protesting and why, and as the questions get deeper, they just sound like fools.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm glad that we live where we do, because I haven't seen any of that shit. Like, this is probably more so Trump country than anything. So I'm glad, dude, because it's so obnoxious and you can't get away from it. If you look on social media or the news, that's all you see.
I'll be honest, I really thought this was going to die down by now.
I did too.
I didn't think this would sustain, and maybe it won't after a few more weeks. We'll kind of see, what kind of fortitude we're dealing with here. But as far as the protest is specifically, you're talking a lot about what's happening over there at UC Berkely, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
speaking of that, before I forget, okay, so Starbucks said that they were going to hire 20,000 refugees, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because last night the UC Berkeley protesters destroyed a fucking Starbucks.
Yeah.
So, but that's part of their whole thing. They want the refugees here. But they're so fucking stupid and disorganized, and it's just bullshit. They don't know. If you're like 18, 19, 20 years old, even if you have an exceptional IQ and education, you're still a moron. When it comes to life, you're still an idiot and you're a child. It takes time, and you have to go through many experiences, loss and wins and weird situations. And when you're at that age, I mean, it's good, let your voice be heard if you have a great idea about something, but all this protesting and shit, you're not going to get anywhere with it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I think we've probably talked about this before, but so if you want to get your point across, going and smashing out a Starbucks window, I don't know that that's what that's doing, That's like, everybody's like, you're a fucking idiot. Just go chow bowl of fuck, you moron.
Yeah.
I mean, is anybody going to remember that guy for what he's protesting about? Or is it going to be because you're a cunt? Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, for real. What are those people going to be remembered for?
Well, it's like that guy, Trey Gowdy. I forget, what's his position again? I'm not a political
Attorney
master.
General or
no. Some kind of shit. I don't know. Supreme Justice Court. I don't fucking know. I don't know, man.
He did this once.
Yeah, but I just wanted, and I've talked about this, but this was a while ago, is he did a great video. It's like a speech in an auditorium about the power of persuasion. And it doesn't matter what you claim to be politically, what he's saying is true. If you want to persuade someone, you don't insult them and break their things. You, as we were talking about when we had dinner earlier, it's like kind of the art of being stoic. Being a stoic type of person, you get your point across without being a total asshole and without insulting the person. And whenever they say something, even if you know it's wrong or it makes no sense in your mind or in anyone else's, there's a way to use tact to persuade them and get them on your side, like the way that you're thinking. But the way to do it is not breaking stuff and jumping people and trying to hit people with baseball bats. That's not ever going to work ever. So,
as you were saying that, I'm thinking, is this really possible? Is it possible outside of circles of, I guess, like your intellectuals and you're just more intelligent people? Is it even possible to have that discussion? Because while you were saying that, I was thinking about how things go down on the news, right? So, as an example, everyone thinks that Donald Trump signed a Muslim ban. Right? A Muslim ban. Right. It is a ban on Muslims coming into the country. And that is 100% untrue.
Exactly.
I don't remember what the numbers are. They've been stated everywhere. But there's a lot more Muslim countries, Muslim-centric countries that are allowed, their people are allowed to come here than aren't.
Right.
It's a specific number. So to label it as a Muslim ban is just, I don't know if it's misinformed or I don't know what that is. it's knowingly, it's disingenuous.
Right.
It's just knowingly saying or framing something in a way that's not true to generate outrage in order to try to elicit some kind of change. And so what you get instead of change are people like the UC Berkely protesters. And to be fair, the UC Berkely protesters were actually supposedly there because Milo Yiannopoulos was there. Right. But it's all kind of one and the same, right? It's the same crowds coming against the same things.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, that guy, is it Milo or Milo? Because when I see his name, I think it's Milo, but Milo makes more sense, right?
Milo all day with me.
Yeah. Okay. Milo.
I'm not saying Milo. So no.
My name is Michelle.
Yeah.
No,
it's Milo.
But I mean, he's obviously a troll, and he admits to it. And but at the same time, a lot of the shit that he says, it is true. He may not say it in the nicest way, and he kind of puts that snarky tone on it to piss people off. But what he's saying a lot of the time is true. Like when he was being heckled by the Muslim women that were in his crowd. I forget which college he was at, but I watched it the other day, and everything he was saying was true. It wasn't hate speech. He was just pointing out the facts about the things that go down in the Muslim dominant countries,
right?
About the abuse of women and gang rapes and all this shit. And he's not saying that every single Muslim does that. He doesn't do that. But he's pointing things out in the hypocrisy of the things that they're saying, that they're like heckling him with.
Right.
And it's just fucking, it's so crazy. It's like a disease of some kind to pick the stupidest losing side and try to stand up for him. It's like a victim culture. Is that a thing? Is that a name?
I don't know. If not, it is now. Yeah.
Yeah.
The strange thing is the way that people choose to apply the term free speech as well. Because people seem to think, and I'm saying this based off my anecdotal evidence of the internet and other things, but people seem to think that free speech, they use it in strange ways. So as an example, someone will say, I wasn't allowed to, or here's what it is. Like, say someone works for someone, they work for a company, and then they come out and say something insane. Here, an extreme example, I'm a pedophile or whatever. And that person gets fired. And they're like, he had the freedom of speech. You know what I mean? Like, people come out for that. But that's not freedom of speech, right? Like, you were free to say it, and then you were free to take the consequences, right? Like, you didn't go to jail for saying that. You were perfectly free to say it.
Right.
It was a stupid thing to say, and you got chastised for it, right? And that's how I see Milo. Not an extreme example like that, but he's going to say things that are meant to piss people off all day long, but that's free speech, right? You have to all people do that go and protest and start fires outside of UC Berkeley. You just made Milo 10 times more famous because he's getting all the free publicity in the world today.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that's getting interviewed, not these fucktards in masks out there breaking Starbucks windows.
Right.
Right. He is the one that's getting paid for that. And so he's laughing all the way to the bank while you morons are out there trying to stop him from talking. He would have got far less exposure just sitting in front of, like, how many like conservatives are at UC Berkeley anyway? Like, how many people, like, what is his audience there?
Yeah.
It can't be that big. I mean, there's going to be people coming from the outside, but that's not your war zone. You know what I mean? Like, that's not like a conservative stronghold that's getting stronger out there. That's what's so strange to me. But it's your liberal stronghold, and that's where you see that's where you see what the liberal, the true, like, hardcore left-wing mindset really is. And when I say the hardcore left-wing, I mean like the opposite of Milo. You know what I mean? The other extreme is you see these, like, petty crying pussies, right?
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm. But the thing is with someone like Milo, he's saying things in an intelligent way, and he's making people angry, but he's not breaking anything or going nuts or harming people physically. He's telling the truth. As far as I've never seen anything where I'm like, you're lying. That's not true. It's just that he has a snarky tone when he points things out, and it pisses people off.
Sure.
But it's man, just religion, dude, in general. It's like I can't take any of it serious. If you're trying to make a point with me and you're using religion to make your point, like as far as you're backing religion, I'm automatically just not listening to whatever you're saying. I mean, I'll listen to you, but I know you're full of shit because you're basing what you're saying off of something it's a myth. It's the same thing as if you're telling me that, well, Zeus said this and did this. It's like, shut the fuck up. It's like I'm at a point now, like my breaking point, where I just don't want to hear it anymore.
Right.
Because it's fucking bullshit.
Well, at least I know in the example you're talking about, the video you're talking about, he was talking specifically about oppression of people. And not only oppression, but abuse of people, you know?
Right.
Like, it is 100% true that people get acid thrown in their face. Women, predominantly. That women get raped. That homosexuals are killed or put in jail, and like these aren't myths. This really happens,
and there's a lot of pedophilia as well.
Right. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff that happens in that culture, and you know, I can see if someone here is a moderate Muslim. You know, when I say moderate, I mean someone that's not like deeply embedded in like Sharia law and the kind of more extreme culture of the Middle East, you know, as far as religion. I can see where they can get that would be kind of offensive to them, because you're essentially saying, well, you're not saying you're doing that, but you're saying your belief system is encouraging that or is responsible for it. So, but I don't think the right thing to do is to pretend that that's not happening.
It's not
elsewhere, right?
Because here's the thing: is, I mean, how often do you see? Okay, here's the thing: is most people know tons of Christians, right? Mm-hmm. And most Christians, they seem just basically normal. Like, you don't really know; they're not bad people. They may not be exceptionally good, but they're just decent, normal people, right?
Yeah.
But they're not like crazy hardcore to the religion. So I'm sure that there's plenty of Muslims, at least in the United States, who are just like that.
It's a huge scale.
Yeah, like they kind of go to the holiday thing. They do the Ramadan or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're like reasonable, peaceful, nice people. Like they definitely think that, you know, beating up women and raping them is 100% wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And like regardless of whatever Quran mumbo jumbo like miscommunication is, like, no, that's just wrong. You don't do that. But but the thing is, you don't see these people coming out in droves and speaking against extreme Islam shit. I never see it ever.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Because whenever what's the Westboro Baptist Church?
Yeah.
All Christians basically condemn or not condemn, but
disavow.
Yeah, because they're fucking crazy. Those people were nuts, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know, dude. This I was thinking of a point earlier, and I'm trying so hard to articulate it, dude. It's just these people. You're standing up for people who are terrible people. And I don't understand where this is coming from. Where they're either dumb or they're terrible or both, and you're standing up for them. And it's fucking crazy, dude. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's so backwards. I mean, is this a form of rebellion? Because you mostly see this, like the nonsense, in the, you know, mid-teens to early to mid-20s, right? That seems to be the age range for the craziest thought process, the people in the streets. You know, you have your outliers.
Yeah.
But I just don't get it. But I've tried so hard to just be objective and be cool and be nice. But I'm at my limit, man, totally. I know I've said that like 30 times. Like, I can't handle it anymore, you know?
Yeah, but it's ridiculous. It's I don't even know how else to say that.
What else can you say about it?
It's ridiculous. The whole thing. Just seeing the images of these people out here breaking stuff, and for what? What are you accomplishing? Realistically, what did that accomplish?
Nothing.
Well, I'll tell you what it made Milo more famous. That is
exactly
the only thing it did, and it raised your property taxes because now you're going to pay to fix all that broken, burning shit. Good job.
It's funny that for some reason, dude, and I've been saying this for a long time, is that college students are some of the dumbest fucking people on this planet. There's some kind of mathematical equation there that proves why they are. I just don't have it with me right now. But it's just true, man. It's 100% true. Like, the logic is so terrible. And the lack of fact-finding and of reading comprehension and understanding context, it's just not there.
Well, a lot of times what you get on on college campuses, universities is, and I'm talking more from the faculty standpoint, is a lot of these people are full-time academics,
right?
Which means that they don't work or exist outside of academia. They don't, and that's cool, as in you get a lot of brilliant people in specific subjects.
Yes.
It's fantastic from there. But when it comes to reality, and, it's kind of like the politicians. You've backed too far out of reality, and you've kind of lost touch with what's happening outside of this little bubble of academia. And so you get a bunch of impressionable kids in there, and they hear that kind of hardline shit, and then they become that. Well, not across the board, but that's the influence, right? Because they're even getting it from the authorities, the people that they respect, and you know what I mean. And especially like places like UC Berkely, it's this culture of that way of thinking, and good things came out of it early on. Early on, you got your like civil rights type stuff, and out of that same, I guess, an earlier version of that thought process. But now it's kind of counterintuitive, I think, is to think that you can be just so like shitty and nasty about something and expect people to jump on board.
Right. I think that the lack of, it's not just because they're young, but I'm talking about, I'm talking about academics. So you need academics. There's some great academics that are awesome people. Sam Harris, obviously. But even though I disagree with some of the things that he's been saying recently, I still think he's a brilliant person. He is a brilliant person.
Sure.
But the thing is if you've just basically, all you do is talk, that's your whole job, is to just talk about ideas, but you don't actually work in those environments with those people, with their cultures, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean that your input isn't important in some way, but you have to combine that with experience and being there, or it's not valid.
Well, it's one of the, have you ever heard the saying, it's kind of like, it's easy to dislike someone until you meet them.
Right.
Right? Like, it's easy to kind of build this straw man of things until you meet that person, and then it's like, nobody's really that, I mean, I speak, generally, most people aren't that bad in person, right? Like, I mean, say you don't get along with someone politically or lots of other ways. When you meet them in person, it's usually not that bad, right? You can have a conversation. You're both human beings. You're both, it's like social media, and it's media in general that's able to kind of polarize people, and they do it in the same way that like Hitler did it, right? It's like us versus them. It's always them, and you can tell in the way people talk, they are doing this again. You know what I mean? It's this weird like a collectivist think of us versus them, where if you meet that person, they're probably not that bad. You know what I mean? And you could probably have a reasonable discussion with them. But when you build up this weird passive aggressive way of communicating, then that's never going to happen. And it's, you're just building that wall higher and higher and higher. And
right, because the only way that communication ever takes place is either through social media or through protest, like in the examples that we're talking about. So it's, you never sit down one-on-one with the person that you're opposing and talk to them without, I don't know, whatever it's, what the hell is that term that I'm thinking of? It's like when you're in a crowd or you're in a mob, you're more willing to do crazy shit. That's a fact.
Like a herd mentality?
Yeah, it's like in sociology you learn that shit. I mean, but, and it's true because I've been in environments where it's like that. And like in a mosh pit, for example,
right?
Like I'm sure I've never been in a real mosh pit. You've been in who knows how many hundreds, maybe, and you've seen people do some wild shit, right?
Oh yeah,
that they wouldn't typically do.
Yeah, people feed off each other,
right? Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know what else I can say about protesters right now. It's like
I want to draw a line on what we're talking about too. When we're talking about protesters, we're talking about people that are doing idiotic things that we believe are counter to their message.
Right.
That they're not doing something that's getting their message out there. They're doing things. They're getting recognized for all the wrong reasons. And to me, that's just like kind of, it's like attention whoring. It's not, because if you're doing something that is harming other people or could harm other people for something that's not harming you, You know what I mean? It's like a disproportionate response to begin with.
Right.
And then it has no impact on what you're supposedly trying to counter, I guess. And I guess that's what we're talking about, like, as far as protesters. Because I'm all for protesting. I like the idea and the action of it, I think, is fantastic. But I do lump a certain brand of protester all into one thing. Because it's just like this big herd of stupid.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We don't see like Martin Luther King, walking down the street and he has his arms looped with those other people. And
right.
That's a beautiful protest with an intelligent message. It's genuinely peaceful, and it changed the world forever.
Right.
But that's not what these people are doing right now.
Yeah.
They're being completely radical. They're hurting people physically. They're destroying property. And it's not going to change anything. All it's going to do is make the right wing and hate you even more than they already do. And then people who are kind of undecided but are reasonable people are going to see that and be like, fuck these motherfuckers.
Yeah. I guess that'd be the lesson out of this, is remember, because that's what a lot of people do. Is like when they see idiot stuff like that, they're like, fuck you and your cause.
Exactly.
Not just you, but your cause. So, and that's how you create like we've got in our political system, where people, even if they don't agree with everything that's going on in their party, they're part of that team now. And that's how that shit gets created.
Exactly. Yeah, and even, let's say, even if those crazy protesters or whoever it is that they're supporting, if they even know, even if they have a good idea, it's going to get lost in all that bullshit. Mm-hmm. And because all the people are just going to start dismissing them, and they're never going to have the opportunity to hear that person out when they do have a good idea that could help change the world. Yeah, and they're just fucking it up for themselves, man. Yeah, but yeah, back to their physical appearance though, is I know that this is kind of it makes me almost feel slightly guilty saying it, because you shouldn't judge a lot of things about a person based off of their physical appearance, right? Yeah. Like, just because you're fat or by Western standards, modeling standards, you're unattractive, that doesn't take away the value of you as a person in any way. But what I'm seeing continuously is people who they just did not get lucky in the genetics department. And they probably don't take care of themselves that well. And you see these like ugly, grotesque, mutinous type of people. And what I think that is that they just hate life and they hate the world, and they're all banding together. It's just this big, ugly colony that hates the world because they're not where they think they should be in Western society. Like, they're, what's that term? Sexually, when you don't get laid.
Like frustrated?
No, well, but yeah, I think there's another term I'm looking for. Because, let's be honest, I saw a lot of those people, and they're not getting laid, dude. And if they are, it's bottom of the barrel. It's like, you're better off alone than having sex with that person that you chose to. Because these people, they're just disgusting, man. And I can't help it,
I love this so much. Go on.
I can't help it, dude. Like, I don't even remember what the sign said, but it's some fat chick, and she has a huge fupa, fat upper pussy area, for those who are not aware. And it's like her pants are pulled over, and you can see all the dimples and cottage cheese in her fupa, and she's like 30. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just like, and she's saying some crazy shit, and it's just like, you're mad at the world because you're fat and lazy. That's all I'm seeing right now. Yeah. But you're trying to be, you're trying to use this protest to elevate yourself as if you're some type of intellectual and freedom fighter, to give yourself purpose and to give you value and worth in this world. And it's not working, because maybe those people in your small circle, you guys all go out and order a bunch of cheesecake and pizzas and sit around and just be disgusting and make stupid signs that are spelled wrong, that have terrible grammar. I'm sure I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, because I can't get the image of that fupa out of my mind, because it. Do you know what picture I'm talking about? Yeah. Dude, oh my God. Just like big triangular titties, like orangutan tits, and just sloppy, matted hair, fogged up, greasy looking glasses. And it's just like, shut the fuck up. Go take a shower.
Did you see the or maybe you're the one that showed me the metal remix of the of that guy or girl or whoever that was screaming when Trump was inaugurated.
Was that a girl or a guy? Have you confirmed? Have you seen anything?
Oh man, yeah, I honestly couldn't make that call.
I know. See, that's crazy, man. Because at first I was sure it was a guy, and then I kept watching. I was like, that might be a chick. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, I always thought it was a guy. Cause, it reminds me of Waldo. Like, where's Waldo? Like that.
Right.
That is a human. Like.
Yeah, it's the standard hipster look. It's the what's the girl's name on Scooby Doo that wears the turtleneck with the glasses and the hair?
Oh, Velma.
Yeah, Velma. They all look the same. You don't know if it's a girl or a boy. It's a bunch of Velmas. That's what hipsters look like, and they smell like earwax. It's like this. It's like an army of stinky Velmas that have no sex.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
But while we're on this, something I'm sick of hearing too, dude, is like you're familiar with the term cisgender or cis that, cis this.
Cis that means that you're like the traditional
right. So
like male female identity.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're like we're cis males, right? But just that word, dude, like, I don't ever want to hear that shit again. It's like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, yes, I believe that some people who are born men want to be women and that they think that they're women. And I believe that it's totally possible that there's some kind of thing like mixed up or crossed up in the brain. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying it's possible. If you look at all the conditions that people have, thousands and thousands, if not millions, of all different types with the brain and the body.
It seems totally plausible to me that if you can be born with two heads or a conjoined twin or with any other number of things, just tells you, like, genetically, there's a lot that's possible. Right. Yeah. I agree.
It's totally. And I don't know, man. I just, there was some video that some thing put out. I don't I forgot. It was like some kind of like cis transsexual dolphin, like, I don't know, fucking atheist, fucking Buddhist or something. I don't know, man. But it was saying, I honestly don't know if it was a girl or a boy because it didn't identify as either and it didn't necessarily look like either. Okay. It was like in the middle somewhere, it could have gone either way. I don't know. Just like the liberal screamer that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And fuck, man, what the hell was I saying? I got so lost in that image in my head of like this asexual fucking mannequin.
You were talking about the cisgender.
Yeah, dude. It's like, I don't want to hear about it anymore. Like who cares if
like the way I feel about that the whole gender thing is, I don't care about any of it, to be quite honest. But what I don't like is the pretentious bullshit of cisgender, and I've seen these when I can't tell if what I'm looking at is real or satire. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen this chart that's got like 75 genders on it.
Yeah.
It's like, get the fuck out of here. Just this is why you're getting made fun of. It's because this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. And did you see the video? It was like that 50-year-old dude that says that he's like a cis 6-year-old girl or something like that.
What?
And he's dressed up like a child.
Hold on.
He's like eternally. He's eternally 6 years old and a girl, but he's a 50-year-old.
I had to make sure I can follow the conversation. Let's make sure that we get our terms right. So, how old is this dude?
He's like 50 or some shit.
Okay, but he says that he's a cis
6-year-old girl. Yeah. Or
so
something.
hold on. So let's make sure I understand. So doesn't cis mean like? What does it mean? Does it mean like if I say I'm a cis male,
right?
Does that mean that I was born with a dick and I am a heterosexual? Is that what that means?
Yeah. But so what he's saying is that he's a cis 6-year-old girl. So in his mind, even though he obviously appears to be a 50-year-old man, he really is a 6-year-old girl eternally until death. Well, not eternally, but until death.
Okay.
And so he's dressed up like in this little dress with, like, I think he cut the bangs, what's it called when you cut it across the front like that?
A bad idea.
Yeah, like the 1980s straight bangs cut straight across that thing. And I think he's got like a little bow in his hair or something. I don't know. It's disgusting.
So I guess like the next question I have to ask is, where do you draw the line between like whatever the fuck that is and schizophrenia? At what? I mean, that's what, when you tell me that sounds like mental illness.
Yeah,
that sounds like someone's talking to trees and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but it's hilarious.
Or a troll. Like one of these two things.
Yeah. My troll detection isn't perfect. It's pretty good, and I don't think it was a troll.
Well, see, and that's exactly what I was saying. When I can't tell the difference between reality and satire, we got a fucking problem. You know what I mean? Like, these assholes are making the Onion extinct.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they can't even... What do you make fun of? It's just like, this is real.
Yeah.
Or is it? I can't tell.
There's kind of like a military site. It's called duffelbag.com. Have you ever heard of it? It's basically the Onion, but it mostly covers military stories.
Okay.
And it just makes them funny.
Yeah.
And I was reading the title of it and the little description or whatever, the synopsis, whatever you want to call it, and of the article, and I was like, are you kidding me? But I didn't see it was on duffelbag.com. But because of how crazy our world is, I thought it was real for a second.
Yeah.
And then I saw it in the bottom, duffel bag in the bottom. I was like, oh, okay.
It worries me a little bit because you ever see shit on like Facebook? Have you seen it before where like somebody posts an Onion article and then you have like a huge fight underneath it?
Yeah.
There's like 200 people that think it's real.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be that person, but shit's getting so fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I have to really like double check these things and is this real?
Yeah.
I don't know,
man. But I just want to say something. I'm proud that Donald Trump is my president. And it doesn't mean that I necessarily agree with everything he does or the way that he may do certain things, but he's got balls, man. He's like 1980s action movie president. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, does not give a fuck, America all the way. And I saw something on the news earlier today. He had a phone call with the Prime Minister of Australia. That's what it's called over there, right? Yeah. And basically, they made some kind of deal where we were going to get an additional 1,200 refugees. Obama made some kind of deal with them, and Trump's like, that's the worst fucking deal I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I think that might actually be a quote without the fuck in there.
Yeah.
And he's right. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but this is the thing, is. Okay, Obama, he's one of the best public speakers ever as far as trying to the power of persuasion. He's very good at it because he's not one to really throw around insults, and when he does, sometimes it kind of attaches that joking nature to it, and it kind of makes it seem like, oh shucks,
Yeah.
And he's a very smart guy, and he's done good things, and he has some good ideas, of course. But at the end of the day, he let a lot of people kind of walk on him, and I could see an argument for it to keep things diplomatic and calm and smooth, but you can't just let people walk on you and make deals where we're getting fucked, basically. And I'm not going to act like I'm an expert on it, but I've read enough to see where this is happening, and I can just kind of see what's going on there, and it's not good, man. And so I'm glad to see Trump go back and be like, nah, fuck that, fuck this, fuck you, and just like throw all that bullshit out the window. I want to feel like how I saw the world whenever I was a kid in the 80s, and it's like anything is possible, and we're the greatest fucking country ever. I haven't felt like that at all, ever since
like a land of positivity.
Yeah, not endless possibility.
Not only possibility, but positivity.
Right.
Like, it's like everything has a, maybe, I don't know, was that just a kid perception for us? Because I had the same general feeling when I was a kid. I was like, hey man, like, nothing's perfect, but this is all right, Well, now it's just like a fucking freak show.
But now I feel like that hard work is usually always going to pay off, unless there's just crazy circumstances that keep fucking you over.
Yeah, chances are better.
But now I feel like it's going to pay off even more for like the genuine hard workers out there. That's where it seems like things are going. Like people who have labor jobs and shit like that. The things that keep the country going that people shit on. That I'm not going to say academic shit on them, because like a true objective thinker and a true academic, they wouldn't shit on that because they see the necessity for each type of job for the world to go around.
Right.
But there's a lot of terrible human beings that do shit on those like trade jobs, and I think that those are going to be making a comeback, and that it's going to be something that's more sought after than fucking just basically going to school to be a bullshit artist. that has no skills whatsoever.
Right. Like a vocational type of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've been saying that for a long time, man, is they have to change college around. Because when I didn't graduate, but I went for a few semesters, and I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. Why am I paying this money and buying these books? Like, I took all the classes everybody takes, psychology, sociology, history, all this shit. And I'm like, okay, I've had to ask my professor a couple of times about certain questions, but not really. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I can go online for free and read all this shit and get the same thing that I'm paying for it now. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
But I have to be here to prove with the certificate. But the thing is while it may be good to have this information just to have a better idea of how the world works, this shit's not going to make me money. It's costing me money. And it's just bullshit. And so I don't know. It frustrates me. The way college has to be set up is they have to start taking out some of the bullshit, man. Because if you already took all those classes in high school and in middle school, you're learning the same shit over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not teaching you how to make money and how to make a living.
I feel kind of fortunate. Like, I absolutely have made some decisions I wish I could kind of go back on as far as education type stuff. But I've never had the feeling, or I've never had the opinion that I needed college to learn anything.
No, no.
Yeah, it's cool to have like a mentor type person that's done something before to ask questions to, but I've never had the feeling that I needed to go to college to, like, if there's like, I never thought, oh man, there's just no way I'll be able to learn my trade or even get a foot in the door if I don't learn it at college. Like that, I've never had that feeling ever, because I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of work you do. Like if you're a medical doctor, you should,
right. Yeah.
There's a perfect example. You need to spend lots of time, but at the same time, you need to spend lots of time in your vocation. I guess it's just like anything else, though. It's really not all that different. Yes, you should spend a lot of time learning, but how much time do you need to spend in sociology class?
Exactly.
That's my point.
Class.
I mean, and I'm not saying any of these subjects are bad. I've enjoyed most of them to some extent, but at the same time, how far do I need to go in that to be successful in other things? Because I mean,
exactly.
In all reality, people that are excellent at what they do are generally not generalists. They are people who have specialized. That's when I call them specialists. They've specialized in a specific thing, and they spend most of their time getting really good at that, not getting really good at 500,000 things.
Right.
And I guess you can set some baseline of, everybody should know how to balance a checkbook at least, or things like that. But when you get a point into like high level math and stuff, I use math in my career some, but I mean, realistically, the need for me to like do complex equations and stuff, it just isn't there. I mean, if you were in a trade that required that, say you're an engineer or you're some kind of engineer, you may. That would be part of your vocation. You say you spend a shitload of time on that.
Yeah, in that case, of course, it makes total sense.
Yeah, because it's part of it, right?
Right. But there's so many things that are just horseshit. Like all of the classes, if you want to be a physician or a surgeon, like of course you need all those internships, probably more than anything.
Right.
Is the internships. And you need all the medical and anatomy classes. Yes, you need those. But I don't think that those degrees need to take as long as they do, because you have to take all these bullshit classes that have nothing to fucking do with being a surgeon.
That's true too.
And it's a scam. And here's the thing is, you're not going to remember that shit anyway, because you're going to knock that out first before you start doing the real shit.
Right.
So by the time you're working at your job, you're not going to remember that shit, any of it. Mm-hmm. It's fucking bullshit. And like, dude, when I was in school, I took it serious because I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to make good grades. I wanted to retain the information.
Yeah.
And the majority of the people there don't give a fuck about any of the information. They just memorize short term, pass the test, and they never think about it again.
Right.
And I would say, I don't have stats on it, but I think that's how the majority probably is because they know that they have to do this to get what they want, but they're never going to use it and they're not going to remember.
Well, I'd say anytime you're learning something, like if you're just learning a test, that's a waste of time.
It is.
I mean, like if you can honestly say, I'm going to learn these things, take this test, and I will not be able to repeat any of it to you in a week, like that, I would question the value of that, no matter what it is.
Of course, people make the argument that, it's not so much the material. We're seeing that if you can do this task in this short amount of time, to get it done. And I see what you're saying, but there's other ways to do that that are relevant to what your career is going to be.
Yeah, sure. Couldn't you do that in a related subject?
But I would say that two of my careers, I would only had two. That's what I would call them, I guess. There's no rush to action like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're working on a multi-million-dollar piece of equipment, you don't just cram in there and try to knock it out real fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you still do the research before you get involved with that job. You make sure everybody's on the same page and all the facts are out there before you begin work. Because if you don't, it can be fucking catastrophic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, I don't know, man. I'm all about education 100%. But like it just doesn't make sense to me the way that we do it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm a huge advocate of education. Like some of the things I get, like reading and writing, I think all people should absolutely have a base level of that.
Right, because basic mathematics.
Because not just the ability to communicate alone is so mission critical to everything. Yes. That's those I can see. In history, I love a lot of these subjects, so I'm not shitting on them the fact that they exist, but like history, though, I mean, we know that the history we learn is kind of whitewashed, a little bullshit. Right. You know what I mean? I mean, that's been proven over and over again. Yeah. I mean, and it's probably true anywhere, right? They've kind of nationalized their history, to make it a little nicer than it really is. Right. So with that kind of stuff, I just don't know how much time you need to spend in it. I mean, because I think when you're in high school, like the way they do the subjects, I think is okay, because that exposes you to all that, like we're in the U.S., so American history, right? You're going to take like American history 1 and 2 probably, or whatever it is. When I take American history 1 and 2 in college, are they any different? Like, I don't remember any like breakthrough moments when I took history in college that were like, I've never heard that before. I don't. It was the same shit over and over and over. Like, why do we need to do that over? Because I could have spent that time working on something more related to my trade, where not only would I have been more interested in it, but it would have actually had a more positive impact on my life.
Right, and for the company that you would have worked for.
Right.
You would have been even more of a specialist.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. I think that unless you're going to be a historian or a history teacher, like what's it called when you work at a museum, whatever that thing
like
is,
a curator type.
Right. Unless you're going to be doing that kind of shit, or archaeology or something like that, which are cool fucking jobs.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessary to do that in college. I think that you get all you need in high school and before that. And history is important at that stage in life, because you need to know where we came from, how the world came to be. Because if no one ever tells you, you're just going to think you just came out of thin air. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you have to learn a basic history. It is important. But there's just so much wasted fucking time, man. It drives me, dude. I'm not going to say where I was, but it was one of my first interactions with an engineer that had a PhD. This was years ago. And he was probably around my age, maybe a couple years older or something like that. And I was kind of intimidated because we had to do a task together, because I was like, man, this guy's got his PhD in this. He's fucking, I don't want to look like a moron, right?
Yeah.
And we're discussing the task, and it becomes clear to me over the course of like 30 or 45 minutes that this guy doesn't have a fucking clue, He's just his nose has been in the books all these years, but he has no work experience. He doesn't know how to organize anything or get things moving, or in what order to do certain types of research to get things going.
Right.
And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And not only that is he had he was Chinese, and he had he could speak English well, but there was sort of a slight communication barrier. So that, on top of everything else, the fact that this guy's never worked a day in his life, he's just gone to school for like the last 30 years. It's like, this guy there's nothing here. Like, you spend all that time and you can't fucking do anything.
Right.
And it's like, it's just irritating. But that's one of I think internships should be mandatory right from the fucking get-go.
They're a good move, because just because you've gone to school to do something, and this is true for everyone, does not mean it doesn't mean you don't know how to do things. It means that you have no practical experience with it,
Right.
I mean, I think that happens all the time as people get out of college with their bachelor's degree, and then they're pissed off because they're not going to jump right into a high-paying job. But I mean, depending on what the job is, truth be told is you won't have experience with it, and very few jobs are probably exactly like what you go to school for, trade wise.
Yeah.
Like if you get let's say you get like an accounting degree, okay, like yes, you are going to understand the math on how to do the accounting, but now what you need to learn is how people are doing business. How it's all the other little pieces you got to figure out before you're really like a top asset. You know.
Yeah, dude, if I was in a hiring position, if they didn't have work experience or a long-term internship of some kind, I wouldn't even fucking consider them unless they were the only person I could get, because they're not bringing anything to the table.
Well, you have to have an entry place for people.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's say, like you could have different levels of a job. Let's say it was an accounting position. We'll stick with that. You could have your junior accountant and your senior accountant. You know what I mean? And then, or however you do that, where your junior accountant comes in and does, because I think this happens with a lot of jobs. You get into certain tasks where you have people that are a lot more skilled and have a lot more experience end up doing for lack of a better word, the trivial work. They're spending a lot of time on the stuff that someone with a lower level of skill could do that part of the work, where they could better use their time doing the more complex things. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that's, there's a place for that. I think is there. You come in and you start doing these kind of trivial tasks, because it's just like everything else. That's how you learn. You kind of start in the bottom, even in most careers, and then you work your way back up.
Right.
Even if you graduate at the top of your class, when you hit the workforce, unless you're just lucky, there's a good chance you're going to start at that base position, and you're going to have to work your way,
right,
to that senior position, gain your experience and become a true asset to the company.
Right. See, there's the thing with the military too, is to some degree they feel like they'll take academics over experience in a lot of cases, from what I witnessed.
Isn't that how they do it? Like if you want to go in as an officer,
isn't that
how that works?
Yeah, well, yeah, you have to have a bachelor's degree or higher, but that's not really what I'm talking about necessarily. Is like, I mean, it looks good on paper to get like, there's this girl that she came there about the same time as I did when I first started as an aircraft mechanic in the Air Force. And so she's like, for whatever reason, she never had to do any work. She got to sit in the office. Like, they basically turned her into a secretary. They made up a job.
Okay.
And which I guess a secretary was needed to some degree, right? But she never like did anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, she never worked on aircraft ever that I saw for years. And but she was getting promoted ahead of everybody else because she could just sit up there and do her college classes, like, or online, or do her homework while she's just sitting at her desk up there.
Okay.
And so you got guys out here just grinding, dudes that are highly skilled, working 12-hour shifts, because she was only there from like 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it starts to make people disgruntled, but she's getting ranked faster than everybody else and fucking getting all these awards and shit, but she doesn't fucking do anything. And I saw that with like 3 different girls. Man, I'm not picking on the ladies, but for whatever reason, they always put the girls up there, Well, they did put this one dude up there too. And the same thing happened when he went up there, man. He was actually a decent mechanic, but he stopped working and started doing schoolwork and hanging out with the bosses and shit. He started getting promoted fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, if you have, man, I don't even, I'm not going to go off of one of these fucking rants about this shit. But anybody who's probably been in the military knows exactly what I'm talking about. This shit is just fucking, obnoxious and annoying as hell.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, if you want to be a badass, you want to have your academics and your experience. That's what I'm saying. I'm pushing the internship. You do need the academic part of it. You do need to be in the books if you want to be a badass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But there's just, I don't know, man. Yeah, fucking, I burnt my brain out on that one.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's something, I don't know exactly what it is that you do to fix the kind of the education system outside of definitely making things more vocational. I think that's a good thing personally.
Yeah.
I think that people should be able to move more quickly into things that are their aptitude. It's my opinion that more people would be more likely to succeed if they were able to start working on what they like and what they're good at earlier.
Exactly.
Now,
yes.
I think you also have the truth that not everybody knows what that thing is. I think there's a lot of people that don't know what they want to do and don't know what they're interested in.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know if they gain more from continuing to go to college or go to school longer and stay in college forever. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if it brings you happiness, good for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
I don't know how you do that though. How you find for someone who doesn't know what they want to do, I don't know how you help them figure that out, because that's to each their own on that. But like if somebody actually has a pretty good idea what their interest is, I mean, I'd say those people, let them get started early. I guess you're kind of fortunate in a way if you do that, because you kind of get a head start. You get the jump on everybody else if you start working on your craft early.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know how the hell we got over to this.
I don't either. Random thought is rich kids, annoying, super annoying. There's a place near where I'm at a lot of the time. It's like a CrossFit place.
No shit.
And you see these kids drive it up in like $50,000, $60,000 cars and shit. And it's got their high school stickers on the back, so I'm assuming it's theirs. Mm-hmm. Because we live next to a very wealthy area. And sometimes I just hear them, dude, out in the parking lot, and the shit that they're saying to each other, and like their context and the way that they view the world and shit is just crazy to me, dude. Just ignorant and spoiled and disgusting, man. Just I don't know if you can help those people. You know what I'm saying? You're just putting more of those pieces of shit into the system, like worthless, entitled crybabies that'll probably get a job at daddy's firm, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like a never-ending cycle. I don't know. I'm a hater. I don't care. I can't stand those kids and all the dudes that kind of have this accent, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of faggy, that type of thing. I'm a hater today, dude.
I know.
I'm washing out all my negativity, dude. I'm hating. I don't care. I don't care at all.
A big glass of Haterade before this motherfucker. Yeah.
I know, dude. It's just, maybe I've had a rough week or something. I don't know, man. But I'm not going to have a rough night, because I'm probably going to have a few glasses of wine later while I'm watching Westworld.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That show is the shit. No spoilers, but if you're not watching it yet, you probably fucking should, because it's fucking badass.
You're fucking up.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, man, the first couple episodes, I was like, yeah, it's pretty badass, but then you start to get into it, and you start to learn the characters, and crazy shit's going down, and it's good, man. I love that show.
Fantastic. All right, well, you got anything else for today? I think we're running up on time.
No. I was going to say we need to watch the Bill Burr stand-up that just came out.
Oh, yeah. This is free promo for Bill Burr, because he is a bad motherfucker. He's
in my mind, he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, he's like the funniest dude ever. I don't remember what his stand-up new special is called. I know it's on Netflix, and he's a bad motherfucker. So yes. And while you're at it, if you're just hearing Bill Burr for the first time, you need to go and what's the name of the special? The one with the orange cover?
Oh, they're all on Netflix.
I think it's called Let It Go.
Yeah.
Okay. It is one of the greatest stand-ups of all time. I found Bill Burr by accident, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah, you showed him to me for the first time.
So I was laying in bed, and I had Netflix on my phone, and my wife was kind of half asleep, and I was just awake, fucking around. So I was browsing through stand-up on Netflix, and I saw Bill Burr's, I think it was Let It Go, and it had 5 stars, and I was like, I never heard of him. What the hell? Let's check it out. I put it on, and that was one of those where you find 100 in your fucking jeans pocket, man. Oh, it's just one of the greatest things ever. I love Bill Burr. Yeah,
I've seen not everyone, but almost every single stand-up special on there, and on Netflix and on HBO and BET. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of stand-up specials or comedy shows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I consider myself not an expert, but I'm close. And Bill Burr, to me, is pound for pound the best ever. People could argue Sam Kinnison's first stuff, his first stand-up hour or 30 minutes that is legendary.
Yeah.
But pound for pound, and for just being able to keep doing it for so long and to be good and getting better, it's crazy, dude. He's the fucking best, man.
I would say if you're familiar with Dave Chappelle, he's up there with Dave Chappelle.
Yes, 100%.
Of just the dude is naturally funny.
Yes,
it's not just his bits. The dude is really kind of how he is in his stand-up. So that's what makes it, I think, it real. Is it's him.
Yeah. Well, even just I listen to his podcast sometimes. Sometimes I don't listen to him because it's too much sports bullshit.
Yeah.
But I listen to his podcast sometimes, and him just talking, he's fucking funny, man.
Yeah.
It's all I've heard some of his podcasts, and it was almost like a free hour of stand-up that was just improv.
And he's and he's like a mature funny too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just if you see him next to other comics, you can tell who's trying and how he's just like, it's just like him living. You know.
Another great special on Netflix is Tom Segura's specials. There's 2 on there, but I think his first one's better. But they're both good. But the rest of them, as far as I can remember, are basically dog shit. Joe Rogan's new one is pretty good. I give it like a 7 out of 10.
I watched one the other day. Shit, wish I could remember this guy's name. He's wearing like a leisure jacket. He's kind of an ugly motherfucker, and that's the name of the thing is like something and ugly or.
That sounds familiar, dude, but I just can't place it. It was on Netflix, right?
Yeah, and dude, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
You know one that I watched that's like kind of not what I expected. You know who, what's that guy's name? Anthony Jeselnik is?
Yeah, I watched that, yeah.
Okay, so my only exposure to him ever has been he was in a couple of those Comedy Central roasts. And I gathered he was just like real dry, you know, just kind of like, no emotion. I watched his stand-up, and it was not at all what I was expecting.
Yeah, it was funny, right?
Yeah, it is dark as fuck, too, dude. Yeah, it was funny, but it was weird. It's like super dark. You know, I didn't see that coming, but it was good though. Man, I can't remember that other guy. He definitely is worthy of an honorable mention. I can't remember what his name is. I will put it in the blog post because I'm going to look it up as soon as we get done with this and figure out who he is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. But of course, all Louis C.K. I think all of his specials since like 2007 are on Netflix. Also,
yeah, Louis C.K. is legit. I like him too.
He's funny, man.
And I was like, what's the pale dude's name? The word pale is even in his Jim Gaffigan.
Oh, I watched him, but I was just like, yeah, it's kind of hokey. Like it's like,
some of it is, and then some of it is.
It had
pretty damn good.
The Dane Cook effect on me, where I'm just like, what the fuck? Why are these people laughing? You know?
Yeah, that's a good point with Dane Cook. I never I've seen his stuff, and there was a few funny moments, but it wasn't like this epic thing that it seemed to be.
Well, he got famous off of like teenage girls. Because if you watch his stand-up special and there's like he's in an arena or wherever and there's thousands and thousands of people there, it's like an army of 14-year-old girls and their parents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's how he got famous. And all those like romantic comedy movies. But yeah.
Really? So I guess that's true because he was in that thing with, what's her name? Jessica Simpson.
Biel? No. Alba.
No.
Jessica Alba.
Wait, the blonde-haired one, right? It was that stupid movie where it's like Employee of the Month, I think is what it was called.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. The movie sucks shit. I saw part of it, but it was...
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, wait. I just looked on my phone. I found this dude saying his name is Chris Porter, and the name of the stand-up is Ugly and Angry.
Let me see. Do you have the picture on there?
Yeah, I think it's right here. Actually, I can probably put it up on the camera here if it comes up. And
surely I thought, is it new?
Yeah, it might be. I just saw it recently. Shit.
Yeah, I want to check it out because I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, there's not a great pic. Yeah, here's what the dude kind of looks like. That actually looks like a younger picture of him. Let me put it on the camera real quick.
No,
that's the dude. But yeah, Chris Porter, Ugly and Angry. It's definitely an honorable mention. So anyway, all right. I think we've rambled on enough here about this. So I'm going to go through the end of show notes, as we always do. If you want to call and leave a voicemail, the number is 804-557-4691. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter at Jake and John Show. The website, the blog, where we'll post extra notes and stuff. That is jakeandjohnshow.com. And then, if you want to help support the show, subscribe on whatever platform you're on, and check out patreon.com/JJ Show.
Yes, and if you smell like earwax and you look like Velma, whether you're a man or a woman, you're a fucking piece of shit. I'm done.
Damn, hating.
Hating.
Take it easy.